So
Hmm.
the last question is, what is the sign of Jonah and its relationship to Jesus' death and resurrection? What is the relationship between the
Uh,
resurrection and baptism by immersion?
okay. The sign of Jonah, Matthew 12, verse 40, for as Jonah was in 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, even so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. And so Jonah spent 3 days, 3 nights in the whale. Christ was 3 days, 3 nights in the heart of the earth. In other words, he was buried. Now, that 3 days, 3 nights does not mean 3 literal days and nights. It was just an expression referring to any part of each day. For part of the first day, he was in the grave. Part of the second, small part of the third, that counts as 3 days, 3 nights in the Jewish mind. And so it is just, Christ is using that as a symbol of the fact that he too would be buried within something for 3 days, 3 nights, as Jonah was 3 days, 3 nights in the whale's belly. Christ will be in the belly of the earth or the heart of the earth. Now, what's the second part of that question?
The second part of the question is,
Mm-hmm.
what is the relationship between the resurrection and
Uh-huh.
baptism by immersion?
Oh, Romans chapter 6, verse 1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Know ye not that so many of us, as were baptized into Christ, were baptized into his death? In other words, you must participate in the death of Christ before you participate in the resurrection of Christ, because there are two events, the death and the resurrection. Someone coming to Christ must die with Christ on the cross. You die to your past life. You die so completely that you're literally dead and are buried. You see, you don't bury a living person. You don't bury a half dead person. A half dead person is still alive. And many people come to Christ only half dead to their past life. We must die. When the soldiers came to the cross to check the three prisoners, Christ and the two thieves, they wanted to break their legs to hasten their death. They found that Christ was already dead. In Revelation 1:18, Christ says, I was dead. We must be dead with Christ to our past life that we might rise. So when you were buried in baptism, it symbolizes that you were truly, you've given up your past life. Now you're being buried. And only the dead should be buried. When you come out of the water, it is the newness of life spoken of in Romans 6, verse 4. As he was buried, even so we rise to walk in newness of life. The same way when the literal resurrection comes, we shall live a new life in the new world with Christ.